Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how I make some of my roses, some of my metal roses. This is one I just make. I'm going to show you how to make this particular one in this video, and what I use to do it for tools and stuff, and yeah, just a simple little walkthrough. This one's made out of brass. You can make them out of copper too, or steel, but for today we're going to make it out of brass shim stock. But I hope you enjoy it. To make a metal rose, you're going to need some metal. So some metals that you can use are copper. You can use steel, but it's really hard to work with. And in between that is what I'm using is brass shim stock. And this is just a thinner brass shim stock that you can get. Millwrights use this. I don't know, machinists use this. It's for it's shim plate. But you can get a little roll of this. I think this was $35, and it was fairly long, and I just have made like, I don't know, I think you could probably make a dozen roses out of something that I bought. You also need a template, a rose template, and so you can get that online. Just Google copper rose, and you'll see a whole bunch of different templates that you can download and print them out. So that's what I did. I just printed one out, and then you just cut out the shape with scissors. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to Sharpie them on here and then cut them out with tin snips. So the one I used has 5 different size petals, this being the biggest, this being the smallest, and then you have where your stem runs into the petals, there's the little green leafy section. Can't remember what it's called, but you just have this little like ninja star thing here at the bottom. So when you put all your layers together after you cut them out, you're going to go this guy, 4, 3, 2, 1 up to the smallest, and then we'll have a way of attaching them, which I can show you later. Okay, so I'm not sure how well you can see this, but I just traced out the biggest petals right here, and I used a Sharpie, and just make it so you can see it, whatever works. First Sharpie I tried didn't work because I have kids and they ruin everything, so I found another Sharpie that did work, and now here we go. I started with the biggest one, and maybe I'll cut out all of them along this, and I want to leave a little skinny strip because I'm going to make the stem out of this. Some of the rose patterns you'll find online will tell you to use a 1/4 inch round bar, and the reason I'm not doing that is because I'm going to make my own stem out of this, and the other roses you need a welder to make, and I'm just going to show you a way where you don't need a welding machine and you can do this at home with just the simpler tools of just your pliers, hammer, and you'll need either a drill press or a little hand drill, and you can use vice grips. You can just grip your little pedal and then use a drill or something into wood or something just to keep your hands out of the way. You definitely need cut resistant gloves when you start handling this stuff, especially after you start using the tin snips, because it's flipping sharp, and like you won't even know that you cut yourself until you see blood all over the ground. Like it'll just get you. Okay, so just as we go cut out these, we're just going to cut out a bigger section of each of them and then work the rest of them later. So for example, we'll just cut this big guy, just give it lots of space, go all the way around it. And then take this guy, and then we'll just work each of these little petals in one at a time. Starting just cutting along the line, just like you would paper. And this is definitely where you need to have cut resistant gloves. They don't always work the greatest against sharp points like this, so you got to be careful with them too. If you come across them, you just fold them over, or you can just know they're there and watch out. Okay, so I got all the pieces cut out now, so they're all here, cut around. I got my stem cut out, and these are all my cutout pieces. So now I'm just going to take some time and just pick them all up, get them out of here so that I don't accidentally, spike myself later. Okay, so we're going to zoom in a little bit here so we can see a little bit better. I got the stem here, and we're going to start working at making it into a straw. So I have some needle nose pliers that take a bit of a corner here. You could use vice grips on end, or you could just figure it out yourself, but you take it and you just start bending the edge around. And this is where copper is actually like way easier to use than this stuff. This stuff has a way more resistance because of the tin in it, I guess. But so you get it started. Once you get it started, you can just get it over and take your hammer and just start hammering the edge around. Once you get it over a little bit more, you'll find that it just starts working itself into a straw shape, and you can just keep going around and around until it rolls up nice and tight. It takes a bit of effort, and if you have a vise, you might find it easier to work on that. I'm just still trying to figure out how to do it in the kitchen mode because not everyone has a shop or a vise or anything, so I'm trying to make it the simplest I can. Okay, now once you get it rolled the rest of the way, you'll see that I rolled it as like fairly tight so that this screw doesn't go in anymore, or it can't go in. So now you're gonna do this last little bit where you take your screw, you'll get piece number 1, thread it through 3, 4, 5, and the last little bit. And then you would just line up the screw with the hole. It's not going to go in. You can use a screwdriver for this, but I just have my drill here, so I'm just going to do this. And now it's in, and like it's in good. So that takes us to the next step where we're going to start folding these up with pliers and just begin to shape them and get them the way we want them. Now we're into a more fun part of the job where we actually get to shape the rose petals, and we start folding them up and then flaring them out one layer at a time. And so yeah, like we have the 5 rose petal layers and then the 1 ninja star at the bottom. So I did the first one already just to kind of get it so you can see what's going on. You just kind of make a C shape. You fold them up, you make them into a C shape, and then you can start flaring the top edge out and just like pulling it over. So like if you were doing this one, you'd start pulling them up. And then you would get, you need to get the right side inside of the left side of each of them. Just like when you're folding up a cardboard box, you need one corner tucked in front of the other, all the way around. Same thing here, just so they fit a little bit tighter. You can get a little bit closer together. Yeah, you want to bring them up. It's very time consuming, and you want to get maybe some bigger pliers that you can start pushing it up from as low down as you can. I can do it with these guys. You just grab it at the bottom and just start squeezing around in a circle, and it'll start folding them up as far back as you can just to get the right height. When you start getting them up, then you start C-shaping them, and then you'll get to a point where you can start flaring. You just grab an edge and bend it over, and it kind of like wants to straighten it out again, so you just keep going back and forth between making it more C-shape and flaring out the top edge. Gives it that real look, authentic. So I'll just keep doing that through all 5 layers, going one at a time. And if one of your seams lines up with another one, because we used a screw and we didn't, well, I think even if you weld it, you can still move, because copper wouldn't stick to steel, so I think it would still be able to turn and pivot. But you want to make sure that where there's a split between 2 petals is in the center of the next one behind it. So you just keep spinning it until the gap is in the center of the next one behind it, and you can just do that as you go. Flip them up, flare them out, C-shape them, or cup them around each other so they're like always lapped like this. Great, so I finished it all up now, just with my pliers, bending everything over one layer at a time, one petal at a time, one row at a time, and finished off the bottom side. You can see that you just kind of do this kind of a shape with these guys. It's fairly natural for, I think, most roses. You could check out roses and see what you want to do with the petals, because obviously some roses are tight and some open up, and you can play around with what you want to do with a rose that you want to try to make yourself. But yeah, that's practically it. Hope this helped you figure out how to make one for yourself, and maybe you didn't even care about making one for yourself, you just wanted to see how it was done. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks.